Have you ever had a moment where a man shared something with you? Not just casual talk, but something real. Maybe he told you about a childhood dream, a fear he's never voiced, or a memory that shaped who he is today. In that instant, it might have felt ordinary, but trust me, it wasn't. What just happened was rare, because when a man opens that door, he's revealing a part of himself he doesn't show to anyone. You see, most men are taught to stay guarded. Society tells them to be strong, composed, and in control. So when he chooses to share his inner world with you, his doubts, his insecurities, his hopes, it means he's decided you're safe. You're not just someone he likes, you're someone he trusts. And for a man, that's everything. What makes you truly special to him isn't how you look or even how much time you spend together. It's how you make him feel. You make him feel understood. You make him feel seen without judgment. And that's something even love alone can't guarantee. In this video, we're going beyond the surface. We're peeling back the layers of what it really means when a man opens up to you, how to recognize it, what it says about his heart, and how to respond in a way that deepens your bond instead of pushing him away. Because once you understand the truth behind what a man shares, you'll never second guess his feelings again. You'll know, with absolute clarity, when you've become someone truly special in his life. Here's something most people don't realize. Men aren't naturally emotionless. They're conditioned to be. From a young age, boys are told to man up, to hide their tears, to never let their feelings show, because vulnerability is seen as weakness. That message gets repeated in school, in sports, in friendships, even in the way adults talk to them. So by the time a man grows up, he's learned how to build walls, strong ones. He learns to protect himself by silence, by control, by pretending everything is fine, even when it isn't. When a man feels something deeply, his first instinct isn't to share, it's to process it privately, to solve it like a problem, instead of expressing it like an emotion. It's not that he doesn't feel, it's that he's been trained to believe no one will understand if he does. That's why, when a man finally opens up to you, even a little, it's a huge deal. It means he's stepping outside everything he's been taught about strength. It means he's choosing honesty over pride. But here's the delicate part. When men do try to express themselves, they often don't have the words. Their emotions come out in small gestures, pauses, or even silence. You might see it when he lingers in a hug a second longer, or when his tone softens mid-conversation. He may not say, "I'm scared," but you'll feel it in the way he exhales before speaking, or the way he looks at you for reassurance without asking. That's why patience matters. When a man struggles to express his feelings, what he really needs isn't someone to fix him. He needs someone who listens without judgment, someone who allows him to unfold slowly, in his own time. Because when he senses that safety, something powerful happens. He begins to trust his own emotions again. And once that happens, he'll start to share more, not because you asked him to, but because he wants to. That's when you'll see the real man behind the mask. Honest, vulnerable, and ready to connect on a level that most people never get to witness. And that's where true emotional intimacy begins. When a man begins to open up emotionally, it doesn't always happen with grand gestures or romantic confessions. Sometimes it's quiet, subtle, hidden in moments that almost go unnoticed. But if you pay attention, you'll start to see the shift, the small cracks in his armor where his real self begins to show through. One of the first signs is consistency. He starts showing up, not just physically, but emotionally. He doesn't disappear when things get difficult, or when the conversation turns serious. Instead, he stays present. He listens, he engages, and he remembers what you say. When a man is emotionally invested, your words linger with him. He recalls small details, your favorite snack, a story you told weeks ago, or how you felt about something seemingly small. That attention isn't casual. It's care in disguise. You'll also notice he starts to share personal stories, things from his past that carry weight. It might be about his childhood, a time he failed, or someone who hurt him. When he lets you into those chapters, it means he trusts you enough to see the unpolished parts of his life. And that trust doesn't come easily. For most men, sharing pain feels like exposing a weakness, but when he's with someone who feels safe, that fear starts to fade. Another sign is in how he expresses his emotions indirectly. Maybe he opens up about his frustrations at work, or he talks about his dreams and fears in vague ways. It may sound like small talk, but it's not. It's testing the waters, seeing if you'll understand, if you'll still look at him the same way once he shows what's underneath the surface. Then there's vulnerability in action. He may not say, "I need you," but you'll see it in how he turns to you for advice, comfort, or perspective. He might start asking what you think about his choices, or lean on you during uncertain times. That's not weakness. That's trust in its purest form. It means you've become a safe space in a world that constantly tells him to stay guarded. And maybe the most powerful sign of all, his behavior softens. You'll feel it in his energy. The man who once kept things light and playful begins to show a quieter side, a thoughtful glance, a slower conversation, a genuine thank you that lingers in the air. These are emotional signals, often louder than words, telling you that his walls are coming down. When a man starts to open up, he's not just letting you in, he's allowing himself to be seen. It's a brave, vulnerable act, often done without realizing how much it reveals. If you recognize these moments and respond with empathy, reassurance, and presence, you become the person he doesn't have to hide from. And that's when real emotional connection begins. The kind that transforms attraction into intimacy and love into something lasting. When a man starts sharing his dreams with you, something profound is happening beneath the surface. Dreams are not just fantasies or plans for the future. They are reflections of his identity, his desires, and the parts of himself that only exist when he feels safe enough to imagine without judgment. For many men, speaking about their dreams out loud feels risky because it exposes both hope and fear at the same time. It's like handing someone a fragile piece of their heart and silently asking, "Can you hold this without breaking it?" When he talks about what he wants to build, where he wants to go, or the kind of life he envisions, listen closely. You're not just hearing his plans, you're witnessing his vulnerability in motion. This is him revealing his why, the inner compass that drives him. And when he includes you in those dreams, when he uses words like we, us, or paints a picture that quietly places you beside him, that's not accidental. That's his way of saying, "I see you in my future." But here's what makes this moment even more meaningful. Most men won't share their dreams unless they feel deeply understood. They need to sense that the person listening won't dismiss their ambitions as unrealistic or childish. When you encourage his vision, when you believe in his potential, you're doing something extraordinary. You're giving him emotional permission to believe in himself. That's rare, that's intimate. You might notice that when he starts opening up about his dreams, his tone changes. There's a light in his eyes, a subtle excitement in his voice. He might get lost in the details, or even sound uncertain as he speaks, because dreams often come with self-doubt. Pay attention to that vulnerability. It's an invitation. It's him saying, "I trust you enough to show you who I want to become." And if you respond with genuine curiosity, encouragement, and warmth, you become more than just someone he confides in. You become his emotional anchor. You become part of the reason he believes his dreams are possible. That connection creates a quiet kind of loyalty that words can't fully capture. When a man shares his dreams with you, he's not just sharing goals, he's revealing his inner landscape, his values, his hopes, his fears. And when you hold space for all of that, when you listen without interruption, when you see the man behind the ambition, you create a bond that's built on trust, respect, and understanding. Because in the end, dreams aren't just about what he wants to do. They're about who he wants to become. And if he's letting you see that version of himself, it means he already sees you as part of his most sacred journey. Vulnerability. It's a word that many people misunderstand, especially when it comes to men. For a lot of men, vulnerability isn't something that comes naturally. It's something they've had to unlearn fear around. They've spent years being told that showing emotion makes them weak, that silence is strength, and that the best way to protect their heart is to hide it. So when a man finally lets his guard down with you, when he allows you to see the fragile parts of him, it's not a small gesture, it's a confession of trust, a silent declaration of love. Vulnerability for men often doesn't look like tears or dramatic confessions. It's in the way his voice softens when he talks about something that hurt him. It's in the way his eyes shift when he admits he's scared of losing control, of failing, or of not being enough. Sometimes it's in the way he tells you about something he regrets, or something that keeps him up at night. Those are the moments that reveal his truest self, the parts that no one else gets to see. And here's the beautiful paradox. Vulnerability is strength. When a man opens up, he's not losing power, he's reclaiming it. He's saying, I trust you enough to see me without my armor. And that trust isn't built in words alone. It's built in silence, in presence, in how you respond when he lets that wall drop. If you meet his honesty with empathy instead of judgment, with patience instead of pressure, you create something rare, emotional safety. That's the soil where real love grows. You'll know he's being vulnerable when he doesn't try to fix everything, when he allows himself to simply feel, when he admits he doesn't have all the answers, when he shares confusion or uncertainty. That's him stepping into truth. It's his heart reaching out quietly, asking, can you still love me like this? Sometimes his vulnerability comes through actions instead of words, the way he looks at you when he's unsure, or how he lets you comfort him when he's exhausted. Maybe he doesn't say I love you often, but he lets you see the side of him that the world never does. That's his version of love, unspoken, yet incredibly powerful. When a man is vulnerable with you, don't underestimate it. It's not weakness, it's connection at its most honest level. It's him saying, here I am without the mask, without the script, without the armor. And when you hold that space, not trying to fix him, not trying to change him, just being there, you give him something priceless. You give him peace. Because at the core of love, beneath all the words and gestures, vulnerability is the language of truth. And when a man speaks it, he's showing you the deepest part of his heart. Sometimes, words can be confusing. A man might not say exactly how he feels, but his actions often tell a story his lips can't. When a man sees you as more than just a friend, you'll notice it not through what he says, but through the subtle, consistent things he does. These actions are his quiet confessions, his way of showing you that you hold a deeper place in his life than anyone else. The first and most powerful sign is intentional effort. He doesn't just make time for you when it's convenient. He creates time. You become a priority, not an option. He reaches out first, checks in on you without needing a reason, and remembers small things you mention in passing. It's his way of saying, you matter to me, without using those exact words. Then there's protection, not in a controlling or possessive way, but in how he naturally looks out for you. Whether it's walking you to your car, making sure you got home safe, or standing up for you when someone disrespects you, it's instinctive. It's his heart's quiet signal that your well-being means something to him. You'll also notice that he includes you in his world. He introduces you to his close friends, brings you into his favorite spaces, or starts sharing parts of his daily life he doesn't show others. When a man is emotionally invested, he wants you to see the real him, the good, the messy, the ordinary. That's not friendship anymore. That's intimacy unfolding in real time. Another sign lies in how he listens. He's not just hearing your words, he's paying attention to your feelings behind them. When you talk about something important, he remembers. When you're upset, he doesn't minimize it, he wants to understand it. This kind of emotional attentiveness isn't casual, it's rare, and it's deeply meaningful. And then there are the small unspoken gestures, the way he looks at you when you're not watching, how his tone softens when he says your name, or how he finds reasons to be near you, even in silence. Sometimes he'll do little things, like bringing you something you love without you asking, because in his mind, making you smile feels natural. The clearest sign of all is consistency. He doesn't pull you close one day and vanish the next. He's steady, reliable, and emotionally present. Even when things get tough, he doesn't withdraw. He leans in. That kind of stability isn't just affection. It's love disguised as loyalty. When a man's actions align with care, presence, and respect, it's no longer about friendship. It's about connection. Deep, unspoken, and real. Because love in its truest form doesn't always announce itself with grand gestures. Sometimes it reveals itself quietly through the everyday moments where he shows up again and again without needing to be asked. When a man begins to trust you with his secrets, it's one of the most intimate and revealing things he can do. Men don't share their hidden thoughts easily. For many, secrets are their last line of defense. The place they keep their fears, failures, regrets, and dreams that never made it into the light. These are the pieces of himself that he's spent years protecting, sometimes even from his own reflection. So when he decides to let you in, It means something far deeper than words like trust or affection can capture. It means you've crossed into the sacred space of his truth. When he tells you something he's never told anyone else, he's testing the safety of your soul. He's watching your reaction closely. Not because he doubts you, but because he's silently asking, will you still see me the same after this? That moment is fragile, powerful, and real. A man's secrets are often tied to his deepest vulnerabilities, the things that make him feel small, scared, or uncertain. Sharing them isn't just communication. It's surrender. It's him saying, here's the part of me I usually hide. Do you still want to stay? And if you meet that honesty with compassion, something shifts inside him. He begins to relax, to exhale, to believe that love doesn't always have to mean pretending. He realizes that being understood doesn't make him weak. It makes him human. That's when the connection deepens. You stop being someone he likes, and you become someone he trusts. That's a level of closeness most people never reach. But there's something else. Trust like this isn't given overnight. It's earned through consistency, kindness, and emotional presence. It's the result of how you've shown up for him, how you've listened without judgment, respected his silence, and never used his past against him. When he sees that your presence brings peace, not pressure, he naturally begins to open more. Sometimes his secrets won't sound dramatic. They may be small things, private insecurities or regrets that still weigh on him. But for him, sharing them is monumental. Because what he's really doing is rewriting the story he's told himself, that no one will ever truly understand. In those moments, your response has the power to heal wounds that have been quietly bleeding for years. So when a man trusts you with his secrets, treat that moment with the gentleness it deserves. It's not just a story he's sharing, it's a part of his soul. And when you hold that space with warmth and acceptance, you become more than someone he loves. You become his safe place. The one person he doesn't have to hide from. The one heart he knows won't turn away. And that, more than anything, is what true emotional intimacy looks like. When a man opens up to you, you're witnessing one of the rarest, most delicate moments in his emotional world. It may not come with tears or long speeches. Sometimes it's a quiet confession, a story from his past, or a simple, I'm not okay. Whatever form it takes, it's a doorway into his truth. And how you respond in that moment can either build a bridge of trust or quietly close that door again. The first and most powerful thing you can do is listen. Really listen. Don't rush to fix it. Don't fill the silence with advice. And don't minimize what he's feeling. Just be there. Men are often taught that their emotions are a burden, that no one really wants to hear about their fears or insecurities. So when he finally chooses to share, what he's really doing is testing whether it's safe to be real with you. Your calm, quiet presence tells him more than any words could. You're safe here. Avoid judgment, even subtle ones. If he opens up about something that surprises you, a mistake, a doubt, or a weakness, resist the urge to analyze it right away. Just acknowledge it. Say things like, thank you for telling me, or that must have been hard for you. Simple, empathetic responses create emotional safety. They remind him that he's not being evaluated, he's being understood. Pay attention to your body language. It speaks louder than words. Keep eye contact, stay relaxed, and lean in slightly when he talks. That silent message of care says, I'm not going anywhere. When a man feels that kind of acceptance, he begins to associate emotional openness with peace instead of fear. That's when true emotional intimacy starts to take root. If you want to go deeper, ask gentle, curious questions, not to pry, but to show genuine interest. Questions like, what helped you get through that? Or how did that make you feel back then? Allow him to reflect without pressure. It shows him that you value not just the story, but the emotion behind it. And perhaps the most important part, honor what he shares. Never use his vulnerability as leverage in an argument, or to prove a point. Once a man feels that his openness has been weaponized, he will retreat, often permanently. Protect his trust like it's something sacred, because it is. Responding with empathy doesn't just comfort him in that moment, it teaches him that love can be safe, that honesty won't lead to rejection, and that he can finally take off the mask he's worn for so long. When you hold that space with kindness and patience, you don't just hear his words, you heal something deeper inside him. Because the truth is, when a man opens up, he's not asking for answers, he's asking for understanding. And when you give him that, you're not just listening to his heart, you're becoming part of it. When it comes to understanding a man's heart, it's never about decoding mixed signals or reading between the lines of what he says. It's about feeling what he shows you through his presence, his trust, and his quiet vulnerability. Every story, every shared memory, every hesitant truth he reveals is a piece of a deeper language, a love language written not in words, but in courage. Because for a man, opening up isn't easy. It's not something he's been encouraged to do. Yet when he does, it means he's found something, someone that feels worth the risk. What makes you truly special to him isn't just how you look, how you talk, or how much you care. It's how you make him feel when he's with you. You make him feel understood, safe, and seen without the need to pretend. You give him a place where he can be both strong and soft, confident yet human. That balance, that emotional freedom, is what builds love that lasts. If there's one thing to take away from everything we've explored, it's this. When a man lets you see his true self, you're not just part of his story, you're part of his healing. You're the proof that love doesn't have to be a performance. It can be quiet, honest, and imperfect, and still be the most powerful thing in the world. So when he shares something personal, don't just listen with your ears, listen with your heart. When he's silent, don't rush to fill the space. Sometimes that silence is trust taking shape. When he shows up, in small or steady ways, know that those are his love letters, not written on paper, but in effort, attention, and time. Real connection isn't found in constant excitement or grand gestures. It's found in the calm between two people who feel safe being exactly who they are. That's where real love begins, not in perfection, but in acceptance. When you understand that, you stop searching for signs of love and start recognizing them in the simplest moments. A look, a touch, a shared laugh, a deep conversation at midnight. So as we close, remember this. If a man shares his emotions, his dreams, and his fears with you, he's not just opening up, he's inviting you into the most sacred part of his world. Treat it gently, respect it, nurture it, because in those moments, you're not just special to him, you're irreplaceable. And if you've ever doubted your place in someone's life, let this be your reminder. Love isn't proven by how loud it is, but by how real it feels. When a man shares himself with you completely, that's not coincidence, that's connection, that's love in its truest form.